Welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk to you about my winter project, and that is my 1952 pickup truck. It's a 3100 model, which means it's a half-ton pickup. I bought it back in 1999 from a gentleman in Springfield, Massachusetts for about 6,500 bucks. Now today you cannot find a truck like this for anything under 25 grand. Here it is. Before I bought this truck, I was looking for a 1938 or 1939 Chevy pickup, but I couldn't find one in decent condition. I did see 2 or 3, but they were too far gone. However, this was my second choice model, the advanced design, which is what they call this type of truck. They started making these particular models in mid-1947 all the way through 1955. And in mid-55, they switched to another model. Back then, I was looking through websites. There was one particular website that sold only trucks, and I looked at many of them, and I saw this once, but I wasn't interested in it because I wanted, like I said a minute ago, a 38 or 39. But after 6 months of searching, and I decided to go for an advanced design instead. And I had been looking at this for 6 months on that website, and I noticed that it had not been sold yet. And I wonder why. So I called the guy in Springfield, and it was still available, to my surprise. And when I went to Springfield with a brother of mine, Jose, I fell in love with it. Immediately when I saw it, I fell in love with it, and I had to have it. So I paid the gentleman right there on the spot, and he brought it over to New Jersey for me. He towed it. He had a tow truck company. Now, I mentioned a minute ago that this was a 1952, but if you are knowledgeable when it comes to these type of trucks, you're gonna notice something that's kind of odd. And what is that? The door, for example. This is not the original door. Neither is the other one. Because back in 1952, they had a vent window here on the side. However, this is an earlier door. This is probably a 1947, 48, 49, or 50, which did not have the vent window on the side. Some of you know that I had a 1964 Impala. That Impala had the vent window, which is a nice touch for these 50s and 60s cars. Now, I also noticed that under the fenders, it has 2 different colors. One is red, I can see hints of red, and another one blue. So the fenders themselves are not original to this truck either, and God knows how many other parts. Oh, and by the way, the engine is not original either. Originally, these trucks came with a 216 engine. But this one has a 235 inline 6, and I'm going to show you that in a minute. Now, this truck has always been garage kept from day one. I used it a few times the first 4 or 5 years, but then in 2004 or 2005, I started having some electrical problems with the starter, and that's the last time this truck has been started. Probably 2004, which is 19 years ago. In 2006, I went back to active duty Navy, and when I came back home in 2010, I either did not have the time nor the money to fix the truck. So what am I going to do with it? Well, I'm going to fix it. I'm going to put it back on the road. It's going to take me a few months, but I'm definitely going to do it. Then I'm going to get it registered, inspected, insured, all that. It's probably going to need a ton of parts, but I'm ready. I'm going to take a step at a time. When you tackle a project like this, there's always some issues. Either you have no time or no money. But now that I'm retired, I have plenty of time, but a little money. And the little that I have, I think it's going to be enough. I hope it's not too expensive, and it shouldn't be. Like I said a little while ago, this truck has been garage kept since 1999, and I am sure that there's not going to be a whole lot of problems with it. And I'm going to be working on this alone, and hopefully it'll be done by the spring, sometime in April or May of 2024. So I have a list here of all the things that I have to do. First, I have to replace all 4 tires, all fluids, including brake fluid, oil, coolant, real differential oil, And the old gasoline, the gasoline has been sitting there for 19 years. So it's probably all gummed up. Who knows what it'll look like. I also had to do some electrical work. The starter has been fixed. It was fixed a couple of years ago, and hopefully get it started with no problem at all. I know there's going to be a lot of things that are wrong with it, things that I cannot even imagine now, but we'll cross that bridge when I get to it. I know the choke thingy isn't moving in or out, and there's also a coolant leak inside the truck, and I forgot, a new battery. I need a new battery, obviously. The old battery's still in there, but will it work? I don't think so. So let me give you a tour. Oh yeah, feels good being inside of this truck again. Obviously, you have the manual windows, manual locks. Nothing's electric here. This is the interior. It has the original AM radio. I do have an AM FM radio inside that the previous owner installed. It's a JVC, but the original one, it's AM. I have the heater, and as you can see, it's leaking. That started maybe 6 or 7 months ago, so I may have to disconnect or take that heater out. This is the choke thingy I was telling you guys about, and it is locked. There is a T here. I forget exactly what this is for. There's a brake. There's a clutch. I can't read the mileage, but it says 31,593 or something like that. But that's probably 131,000. Yeah, so it has the original gauges, or at least they look original. Now, to turn this car on, this is the ignition. You put the key in, you turn the key, but that's not how it starts the truck. You have to press that pedal here on the ground, right? You see that? You press that pedal, it engages the starter, and it turns the vehicle on. Right now, yeah, it's loose. And guys, I have a Millennial and Gen Z auto theft deterrent system, and it's right here. It's a 3-speed on the column. It's a manual transmission. Good luck stealing this truck. And here's the battery. You're not going to believe this. It's right here. Right here under the passenger's feet. So that battery, a diehard, has been there all these years. I even have an operator's manual for 1952. Light, medium, and heavy duty trucks. I gotta read up on this. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I bought another manual, the Chevrolet Truck Shop Manual. Even though it says 1948 to 51, it also includes a 1952 supplement. So I've been reading up on it, and yeah, I think I'm ready to start work on this truck like tomorrow. Okay, so let me show you the engine. So here it is, guys. This is a 235 inline 6, probably one of the best engines ever done by Chevy or any manufacturer. There are millions and millions of these still in existence because they last forever. But like I said, it hasn't started in about 19 years, so I am keeping my fingers crossed, and I'm sure I'm not going to have a whole lot of problems with it. And down below is the starter that I have problems with, and I have to still replace some of the wiring. As you can see, this is all burned out. It's a 1-barrel carburetor. Back in 1952 they came with a generator, but as you can see here, that's an alternator. So this vehicle was converted from a 6-volt system to a 12-volt system sometime in the past. So you can see here that the wiring was nicely done back then. Some of the things I'm going to have to do is take out the spark plugs. I replaced these wires a long time ago just to be on the safe side. Coil should be okay. Distributor should be alright as well. I need to check all the fluids in this vehicle, and I'm going to have to go through every nut and bolt and tighten them up and make sure everything is up to par. And you're not going to be able to see this, but there's a casting number. I don't know if you can tell. It's right behind the starter, and that is G227. Now the G stands for the month of July, and 22 stands for the day of the month, and the 7 stands for the year. G227 means that this engine was built in July 22, 1957. But there's another number I want to show you. There's a number to the left of the distributor on a plate, and you're not going to be able to see it. It's right there, right there. And that number is F24B. So F stands for the place where they built the engine, which is Flint, Michigan. F stands for Flint, Michigan. Number 24 is unknown to me at this time, but the B stands for type of vehicle, meaning that this engine was built for a car, not necessarily a truck. Alright guys, all the way down there, you're going to see the block casting numbers. And that is a 383 7004 GM13. You can barely see it, but it's down there. And that means that this engine block was manufactured in the years 1955 through 1957. And this is the head casting number. This is 383 5913 GM24. Now, this type of engine head was made from 1954 through 1955 only. But however, this type of head can fit other 235s all the way through 1964. And it's right next to the carburetor, right to the left of it. So it looks I have either 1954 or 55 head attached to a 1957 block, which is perfectly fine. Now back in 1957, the 235s had 140 horsepower at 4,200 RPMs and 215 foot-pounds of torque. Now Chevy only made one type of car in 1957, other than the Corvette, right? The Corvette had a V8. However, the 1957 Chevy had 3 types of engine. The base model came with a 235 inline 6, just like this one, and they had 2 V8 models. They had the 265 V8 and the 283 V8. So, according to my figures, according to my numbers, this came from a 1957 Chevy car. Now keep in mind, again, the Corvette was the only other car, but that had a V8. All the 57 Corvettes had a V8. Now there's going to be a lot of things on this truck that I do not have any experience fixing. However, my brother June in Camden, New Jersey, he has a lot of experience with vehicles and trucks, and he has his own shop, and he's going to be helping me. He's going to guide me through some of the things that I need to do with this vehicle in order to put it on the road. So hopefully by April or May, it'll be completely, well, not restored, but it'll be on the road, and I want it to be safe for the road and roadworthy. Back in '99 when I bought this truck, I asked Jim, the previous owner, some questions about it, and this is what he wrote to me. He says that the oil that he used was a 1040W Castrol. 1040 is the exact same type of oil that my brother June told me to use, and the reason is the truck is very old, so you need something thick. I think I put 10W30 in the past, but it leaked a little bit. So yeah, I think I want to go back to 1040 like the previous owner did. The wiring harness is a Centec, and the rear differential is a 70 Nova or Camaro Tempo Posse traction. It has disc brakes from a 75 through 78 Camaro. And he says that he found a date code under the distributor and found it to be a 56 motor. So again, that distributor could have been from a motor from 54, 55, 57, who knows, even 56. But all of these parts are interchangeable. So it looks like someone grabbed a bunch of parts from different engines and put it all together because they fit. All these parts fit the 235s all the way from, what, 54 through 62. So when I'm done with this truck, I have to make sure that it is safe and roadworthy. And who knows, I may take it to the hardware store and haul stuff. I'm looking forward to starting the work on the truck, and I'll show you every step. And I'll mix some of those videos in with the chickens and the wood burner, the boiler, all that stuff. Now, I may not be able to do any videos on this over the next couple of weeks because I have company coming. I have visitors coming from France, and they're going to be here for a couple of weeks. And yeah, once the holidays are over and we're back to normal, then I'll start working on the truck. I have a heated garage, which is perfect. I don't have to freeze to death in here. I keep the heat here to 50 degrees Fahrenheit, and it feels good enough for me. Oh, and talking about the chickens, it was snowing this morning. I got one egg. Want to see them? Here it is. Alright guys, so this is just a quick update, and I want to wish you all a Merry Christmas. You all have a good morning, afternoon, or night, wherever you are. We'll see you mañana. Bye.